Again, hello everyone. My name is Marek and I'll be talking to you today about the business reports in XTRF. A couple of words about myself. I work at XTRF Translation Management System for a couple of years now. For a moment, I worked as a deployment specialist. Since couple of weeks, I'm the product owner here. And today I would like to show you the business reports in XTRF, in general data in XTRF, and what you should keep in mind, or how you can use this reporting module that most of you already aware of in the system. So this is briefly the agenda for today's presentation. Of course, when we are talking about the business reports, something that comes to your mind first is the reporting module with the business reports. So we will start with that. But I believe that there are other ways of getting the data from XTRF, and I would like to focus on using the smart views that you already also know inside the system, how we can use them as a form of reporting. So I would like those two types on those two tools that you can use to get the data out of the system. When we will go through that, the next point would be the automated report delivery. A couple of words about that, and how you can use your XTRF as a source of data for reporting outside of the system. At the end, I hope that there will be some time for questions. If there will be any questions, I'll try to answer them immediately. So let's start with the session today. The first part is the business reports module. Of course, most of you is aware of the fact that there is a module inside your XTRF reports where you can find results that were created with the system installation. So I would like to quickly go through the advantages, what are the capabilities of that system modules. Tell you a bit about the types of reports that you can create in XTRF, and go through a configuration of some examples to describe the entities, the settings of the report, how they can help you get the result that you need, and how you can visualize your data. So not only the tables, not only the raw data on your screen, but also the charts that are an option for the business report. The advantages of the business reports, how they can help you. Of course, this is the main question. Well, generally, you want to pull the data out of your XTRF. XTRF is a database, so there is no point of having a database if you cannot use or see the data that you're interested in. So what's so special about the business reports? The main advantage of the business report that they can aggregate the data from all across the system, from, well, maybe not all the system at once, but from specific areas of the system. So if you're interested in getting the data of a certain type, and you want to put it together to see the summary, or just highlight some or put some on some details, the business report can accumulate your data, aggregate, and display it in the form of a table or in the form of a chart. And there are various types of data that you can use, and of course, those types of data combined with filters on the report itself can give you the result that you need. And so for now, I would like to go to one of our test installations to give you an example what I am talking about. So this is one of our test installations. It's often used for the presentations, and the reports you all see it in your system. So few words, what you have here, you can have your business reports. This is my view for later, and business reports that most of the time they're pre-created in your system, or you could create them. You can create them with our support or on your own. On the list of your reports, you have the reports created in your system, which you can edit, get the output of the report, so generate the results table, print, or export them as a CSV. Now, XTRF gathers the data. The data is assigned to various types of data. That's why when searching for a certain report, I can focus on type of data. So data that the system can collect and can use for your business reports. So we will talk about that in a moment. When it comes to business reports that you can have here in the reports module, there are three main types of reports that you can create and use. Those are the number, relation, and value. Number type of report would give you number of entities inside your system. So if I would focus on this type of reports, you could see some examples here. There's a number of projects, number of tasks, number of calculation units. So we are counting the entities inside the system. Now, the value is a report with the type of data that focuses on, well, most of the time, total agreed or total cost of projects, tasks, cost of jobs. So the value goes usually with the reports that can give you the overview of a finance in your system. The last option here is a relation, where the system is able to clash together two types of reports: number of something against number of something else, value of something against the number of something. In various configurations, that could give you reports with different data, with different data that's presented for you. I have here a short list of reports that I would like to show you at the moment. So on my list, I have three types of reports. One is focusing on the value of projects. Another is showing me the number, and the last one is the relation. Of course, project profit itself from all across your projects from the beginning of your usage of the XTRF system is not much of it. Well, it's probably interesting information, but probably you don't want to use it daily. That's why the type of report and the type of data is just the beginning to create a report, and just the beginning of creating an entity that would answer the question that you would like to get the answer for, or to give you the data that you want to pull out of the system at the moment. So basically, what is most important is the configuration of the report, because the configuration of this type of report with this type of data would give you the project profit in base currency per client this year. I'm just using an examples because every time our client comes with a specific request for a report, we look on that individually, because as many clients we have, the needs for reporting are different. So every time we approach this individually. That's why here you can see only some examples, but I hope that those examples would give you an idea of how this tool could be used. Because I have here reports, and just by name you can guess what is the data that's presented as a result of this report execution. Project profit per client this year. I want to see here how much my test installation has earned this year, and I want to see it. I want to see this data for every client individually. Project per PM this quarter, it means that I want to see how much projects every project manager has assigned in my system this quarter. And client last quarter is a relation that's also some kind of data for specific type of projects, or for all projects, or for quotes, or maybe for opportunities. Well, that's the beauty. You can select various types of data. So project profit in base currency per year. I would use that report to give you insight into the configuration of the report and sections which you can use to make it actual and valid source of information. Okay, so I'll edit this report, and of course, when you create the report, when you create a new one from the scratch, you need to select what kind of type of report it is, and what kind of data type you want to use, what kind of data on while generating this report. So, well, every report should have a name, because the name will give you the information what's inside, so you can quickly access that. Once you create a report, the type of data and the report type remain the same. And then underneath you have the filter settings for projects, because the data type, the area of the database that the system would focus while executing this report, has a direct influence what kind of filters you can use in this report. And I believe the filtering here is the key, because actually the filters, the setting of filters, the presence of special filters here make this report special. And this configuration, along with the configuration of the further part of the report, would value type project profit report would make this a project profit per client this year. Because what we have here, the filters here, filters, because you can apply multiple, is the way that you can narrow the data that the system will display. This is the way that you can create and set up the query that you want to have from your database. And for example, what is the most important here? Of course, we have projects. We would like to see the project of our clients, or maybe project of some clients, maybe only the active, or maybe only the potential one. That's up to you. If you want to pre-select some projects from some clients here already, and again, if you generate this report, would you like to see this filter on top? Because as configured in a proper way, would give you the actual value. This year, I would like to focus on this part of the name. I want this report to give me the information about the project that were created, or maybe that were delivered within this year only. Because maybe I have similar report, but the second report focuses on the last year, or maybe in general on total value of all projects. So in this case, I can select the deadline and preset the default setting for this filter to have only the projects from beginning of current year to the end of the current year, which means that the setting of this single filter makes this year report. Because if I schedule different, if I would select different time frame, then the system will present me a different data, and of course that wouldn't be this year report at the moment. So the key here is the filters that you can apply, the filters that you have on the list of available filters for this report. All you need to do is make a decision which filters to select, how to create a query that would give you the data. What I mentioned, the availability of those filters here depends on the type of data that you are focusing on, because different types of data have different information on it, and you can apply different filters. When it comes to reports of a value, you can always display the values in the currencies, which are in projects. All of you probably know that XTRF can work with multiple currencies in parallel, or have all of those currencies converted into the base currency that would give you overview in your main currency. Now, the system here with this report can aggregate the data. So it will give you the totals. It could give you the total of everything that's filtered out with those filters at the moment. When I will click generate this report, it will give me the total value. And that's the beauty of the business reports here. You see the figure. With one click, you see the value that you want to have. You don't need to export that into an Excel and use the sum option. So it gives you the total. It aggregates the data. It presents without any additional configuration. In this area, it would give you one figure you have earned on projects from all clients, from projects where the deadline was scheduled within this year, from the 1st of January until now, basically until the end of December. So it gives you this value. You don't have to use any other tool to get the total. Of course, sometimes you want to focus on some other information, because maybe the total in general is important, but aside from the total, you would like to see other information. Now, the columns and rows is the way how the system could present the data for you, with nothing specified. What kind of data, what kind of information should be used to aggregate the data from the projects? It would give you a small entry that's just the total. But what is stated in the name of this project? It says per client. So I'm not only interested how much I've earned, but I would like to see how much I've earned for every client whose projects are currently filtered out by this report. That's how I can use the columns and the rows in the table, because here selecting a special type of information, you can make the system to aggregate the data and put together in a specific context. Just an example. In rows, I've selected a client. It means that there will be a special row created in my table for every client. In columns, I have total. So when I click generate this report, in a moment, system will give me my table. And of course, there is a total on the bottom, and I can see this information. I can see this information for every client individually. So I can make I already have my report here. So columns and rows is the way how you can configure the table. What information should be presented here? On which areas of the projects you would like to put the focus? Because, for example, I can have here the clients, but I can easily change the client to a project manager. And here's the project manager. Updating this section of the report would make this report project profit in base currency per project manager this year. Instead of showing me the names of the clients, system would rearrange the table and would show me, well, basically that there is the same total on the bottom, but this time I'm focusing who has run the project that gave me the money I can see on the screen. So basically, there are two aspects in configuration of the business report. First, you need to decide what kind of information you want to get. how to configure the filter section to give you the data that you're interested in. So basically the filters are the way of telling the system what you're interested in. Columns and rows are the way to tell the system how to present your data, what you want to see in particular. Maybe not only the total, but show it per project manager. Or additionally, I can use columns. If in columns I would put something that relates to some kind of to a time, for example, a deadline, the same report would give me this information, but also stretched with time. With the frequency, I can adjust, for example, month with the year. Now, it's not only going to be a total per project manager in general this year, but I can see project manager month by month how they perform, or in general, maybe not how they perform, but how much profit their projects brought to our company within those months. So basically, the configuration here is the key, and the key to answer the question, what to have. And basically, from my personal experience, I'm presenting you here the information on the defaults, on some examples, but from the practical point of view, to find the right configuration for a report is to get the need. What kind of report would you like to see? How it should be presented? And then we can apply filters and configuration of this lower part of the report to give you this data, in your system. So in the case of reports, it's always better to have a specific question from a client, how to create this kind of a report. Then we can transfer that into the XTRF. Well, maybe not the XTRF language, but the information that's in your system. That you can use to extract the information from your database and put it together in the form of a report. Now, when it comes to the form, there are chart settings for this report where you can select one of the options to visualize the data. Sometimes it's easier if you to just see it on the screen. Is it a pie chart or any other? Now, coming back to advantages. First of all, it aggregates data and can show you that in a specific perspective. The reports that you create here could be kept internally, or you can allow your clients or a specific group of clients to get those reports. I mean, obviously, but business reports here could be shared with your clients or with selected clients in their customer portal. So instead of sending them a table with the data that they require every month, maybe it's easier to set up a report in the customer portal. They can get the report on demand whenever they like to get it. So advantages of this business reports: aggregate the data, various types of data that you could use, and you can share this with your colleagues, or you can even share that with your clients. And this is the basic or report and just an example configuration. So various different settings, configurations of types and fields, columns and rows here could give you the report that you need. Now, second tool for reporting in XTRF. I already mentioned that when it comes for reporting, the business reports come to your mind first, because let's face it, it's easiest to to link that with reporting. But I'd like to also propose an idea of having the smart views, the bros that you daily use in your XTRF for reporting as well. Most of the time we consider the bros of projects, vendors, clients, quotes, whatever, to be a to-do list, to be a list that you need to focus, and it's the list that you need to do today, the list of projects that you need to deliver today, list of jobs that has been delayed this week, and so on and so on. But basically, all this is information, and from the practical point of view, an information that you can put together and use for reporting. That's the main idea. Now, what are the advantages of the smart views? Well, they're easily customizable. I mean, everyone can create their own views, easily add, remove columns, add, remove filters. And at least at the beginning, comparing configuration of a smart view to configuration of a business report that you saw just a moment ago, well, let's face it, the smart views look much and easier for users in the system. So it might look that having a table, creating a table in XTRF is much easier than creating a report where there are some strange rows and settings and filters and so on. That's not exactly true, because if you get some experience with business reports, they are not so complicated after all. But I understand that at the beginning, putting up a table just by selecting some columns and putting together the set of filters might look easier. Now, I told you that the main advantage of a business report is that they can aggregate the data. They would give you the total with some configuration, with the focus on some areas. Now, what are the advantages of this? They can present various information in one table, because the business reports, when you select a specific type of data, system would focus on this type of data. And when we are talking about the project profit, all the data that the report would give you would go somewhere around the profit of the project. It's not possible to add second type of data unless it's a relation, but obviously as a result it will be one type of data presented to you, but it's not possible to add more types of data. So extend those tables with not only information about the profit, but maybe some information about the client, maybe some information about the project manager, or maybe supplement this information with the report with notes that you kept in your project. So the main advantage of the report is the fact that they aggregate the data and can give you the overall idea, while using the smart views is an option to give you various information about projects, about your clients, about your vendors, or about your quotes, all the information which are available in your system. So in smart views tables, which I'm trying to present to you as a reporting tool, well, you can decide what information you would like to see, and you don't have to focus on one specific type of data. As I said, it's fairly easy to configure. At least at the beginning, it looks way more easy than creating a report. And of course, you can share your views with different system users, with another users in your system, or you can keep them private, just for your eyes only. Okay, so maybe some practical application here. Let's go back to our XTRF. and let's use some views. You have the views everywhere. There is a browse everywhere inside the system. Wherever you will go, quotes, opportunities, list of invoices, everywhere you will find a view. So this view can easily be considered as a report. I've created myself a special type of view here, focuses on specific information of my projects, because this is a view in the projects module, so obviously I will be focusing on my projects. I called it project margin over 80% last quarter, which means I'm interested in the projects where the start date and time were last quarter, and of course the deadline also last quarter, and the margin is between 80 and 99%. So I'm sure that I'm not showing false positives. For example, a project that has total agreed but doesn't have any costs yet is a project that would show me a 100% of a margin. So in this case, I want to see the real data. And well, I don't think this is something that you would consider your daily dashboard, so the view that you would start your day with. But this is a way of out of the system, because I can easily supplement this information with another data if I want. And what's the beauty? Every table that you will create in your system could be exported as a CSV file. So you can get the table into a sheet and save it somewhere, or send it to someone. And again, various information. This is the main area of interest for this query are the projects with a specific level of margin. But aside from the margin, I can see who has run the project, who is the client. Obviously, that would be available also. That would be available in reports module. But I can also see what's the total agreed, and I can add very quickly here additional information. So all I need to do is select what kind of information available, because obviously it's not every single piece of information that I have in my system, but obviously some of them I can add them here easily. Like, for example, notes. Are there any notes relevant? Or maybe I want to see the client category as well. So I need to see not the categories of a project, but categories of my clients. And what we have here? Maybe origin. Maybe I want to see if it was requested by my client, or those are the projects that were created, that initiated in the home portal of the XTRF. So not only the project profit is the information that I can get from here, but also additional pieces that I have in my system. Well, basically, I've selected my columns poorly, because for my test installation have no notes and all of my clients are uncategorized, but I can see that the most of those projects here were created by my project managers in the home portal, or any other users in the home portal. One was requested from a client using the customer portal. So still one, but it's good. So this is the beauty, that customization comes very quickly, and basically what you see is what you get. It's all you need to do is just build the table to get it to save it and to export the data out of the system. And what I said, you can create tables like this all across the system. Every module, every area of the database runs on browse, and those browse have customizable views which you can use to get the data out of the system, and we'll just show them up. Well, basically, when it comes to comparing the tools, sometimes you can use one or another to get more or less the same results. but they are not. But the tools are different, has some limitations and has some advantages. Because basically, I could go to the reports module and use the data type project margin to also get a list of, or to get information about what was the margin of projects that were delivered last quarter. I can also use the margin as a filter, so I can see the projects over 80%. So, but the information, the way the information is presented, is different for the reports and different for the views, because here in the reports I can see more than just the margin, more than just my main focus. But on the other hand, it is presented project by project. So if I would like to see this data aggregated for a client, business reports would be a better solution for me, because business reports easily aggregate by project manager, by client, or whatever information that's available there. So the actual question is which one you should use. You need to answer yourself what information you are interested in and how they should be presented. Is the various of data more important than use views? Otherwise, if you want to just quickly see the total, then you should use business reports, because they will give you the total, and they will give you the total very quickly. So in this case, it depends. It's hard to say which tool is better, because there's always a context needed. What information and how presented is necessary for you. Now, couple of words on how to get your reports out of the XTRF. Because one thing, you have your report in XTRF and you need this information daily, you need this information weekly, or you need this information once a month or once a year. So having a report is one thing, but going into the system every time you need it, or just remembering that this is the time of a month that you need this report, well, this is also a thing that the XTRF can help you with. I'm talking about the periodic jobs. Periodic jobs inside your system, so most of you probably know, those are actions that the system can operate and execute on predefined scheduled basis. So it could be done once a month, once a day, or once a year. So in this case, the periodic job are just a delivery tool, but might come in very handy. Again, back to the installation, and very quickly, I just like to point your attention to two types of periodic job that could help you work with that. And what I'm talking about is two types of subscription. Periodic jobs with a type of filter subscription or report subscription, because those two periodic jobs could generate the report that you have and send it to you by email. I'll just quickly add a new one instead of going through the list. I would like to have a filter subscription, which means I want to get an export of an existing view inside the system. The second one is report subscription. Exactly the same thing, but the system would be exporting the CSV file of a report from business reports module. Save it, and well, the configuration of the periodic job is fairly easy. The main idea is just to point the system which report you want to get and how often. Because basically, the system would give you the list of all reports that are available, and all you need to do is to select report or reports, because there can be multiple, that should be executed and delivered. Subscriber or subscribers, because it could be a group of users, those are the system users. So for example, I can select myself here. I can select myself here. Oh, sorry, not the user. Okay, this is me. To get an email with those two reports. Now, execution configuration. It means when the system should send you this this report. Once a day, several days per week, some days of a month, like first day of a month or a first Monday of a month. It's up to you. That's just the question of when you need this report. If it's a report that you want to have monthly, then select days of months. If it's a report that you want to have some days of week, every Monday or every Friday, just select days per month. In general, the configuration, the idea here is very simple. Just point the system which reports you're interested in, add people that should get the result of this periodic job. It means they should get an email with the CSV file or files attached, and select to be executed. And the system will take over from now, from this moment. In this particular configuration, every first Monday of the month at 2 a.m., I would get a mail with that with those reports. Those periodic jobs, you can create as many as you like. So different reports could be delivered on a different scheduled basis to the different system users. So in this case, it's up to you how you configure the execution of the report and configuration of the second type of periodic job, filter subscription. So the periodic job that would give you the export of a view is exactly the same. One more thing I would like to show you now is okay. So this is a way how you can distribute those reports or views within the system. Still, the recipients of the email is a system user. Now, I told you that the last point would be use the XTRF system as a source of your data. In particular, I have in mind an add-on that you can use for Google Sheets. What does it mean? This table could be exported to a Google Sheet, and with the Google Sheet shared with anyone, what is more, updated on the go. I have here in another window opened Untitled Google Spreadsheet. In general, I would like to show you how very quickly get the table that you saw in my XTRF here. Add-ons. You need to select XTRF for Sheets, get this add-on. It's available in the Google. So I want to use it at the moment. I already added it to my Google Sheets. Now, what we need to do is allow Google Sheets to access your XTRF. For that, I need to have an access token. It could be generated for every user inside the system. So every user could generate a token like this. As you can see in my account, configuration of my account on this test installation allows me to generate this access token. There was already one generated. I can generate a new one. Basically, it's the password that my Google Sheet would use to authorize connection. Okay, one thing is, the second thing, pointing the Google Sheet to the information I would like to get on my sheet. And this is very, very easy. All I need to do is copy and paste the link to my view. Every single view in XTRF have a unique URL. So I can point the system to a specific location in my system, in my XTRF, and voila, that's it. I have my view. I have my report in my smart view in XTRF here in the Google Sheet that I can share, or I can use to work on this data, to work on this data in some other way. It has an option to auto fresh, so every hour XTRF this Google Sheet could be supplemented with the new data, and that's it. This is very easy. All you need to have is two information: access token and then URL to a view. Of course, the view must be created. In your XTRF. But that's it. Two information, and you have it outside of the XTRF to work with, or to share it with anyone. That's an option. That's the option if none of the tools that I have presented you up front at the beginning, the report module or the views, are not for reporting. Because let's face it, it might happen that neither the business reports or the smart views would give you the report that you need. So last option here is leave the XTRF reporting tools and just use the raw data out of the system to work on it. So that's the option. If you're not able to find a solution for yourself, if you're not able to find a solution for yourself within those tools. And with that spreadsheet here, that's all what I have presented for today. So a short summary. What I have shown you today: business reports module, how you could use the data that you already have in XTRF, how you can use those data and present it. Smart views that you all know from your XTRF and you use daily, and maybe you have already figured it out, or maybe you haven't realized that this is also a powerful reporting tool. And basically, when it comes to the question, which tool should be used? First, you would have to ask yourself a question: what kind of information and how would you like them to be presented to you? Do you need a chart for that, or would you like to share it in? With the client in the client portal, or maybe your the main reason is to get the data out of the XTRF. You need to have this data in a Google Sheet, for example, here. So answering those questions to lead you to one of the available options, because obviously there are various ways to achieve the same result, but it is up to you to select. It is up to you to select which one is best to you. Now, sorry, I think I've took a bit longer of your time than we promised, but if you'd bear with me for a moment, I think we can. See if there are any questions that we could answer. Okay, I'm getting the list of questions now. What about David is asking about what about the vendor's permissions report that I can create for a specific vendor, for example. Well, depends what what do you understand as a vendor permissions? Because obviously you can use the smart views in the vendors module, and there are data types that refer to a vendors that well, we would need to figure out what's the actual data that you want to present. Okay. A question. Alternative to Google Sheet. At the moment, connection to Office 365, Excel, or other tool is not available, at least not directly from XTRF. So there would be a question if it's possible to import something from Google into those tools. A supplement to David's question, a chart with the revenues. Well, the finance aspect of the XTRF is the finance aspect of the XTRF is available. Well, mainly this aspect is for reports. So in this case, well, revenue for a project, well, basically depends how you define your revenues, because within year, I learned that a revenue might be defined differently. Depend how you define revenue. Okay. Another supplement to the questions about the connections. Get the data from XTRF. From XTRF directly. Okay, so in this case, I don't think that we have a connection to anywhere else than a Google Sheets. When it comes to the question of reporting in the vendor portal, the sharing reports is available only in the client portal. We do not consider vendor portal as a place for reporting. So in this case, you would need to generate maybe a view with that, and share it with your vendors, because I don't think we have anything on our roadmap to extend the vendor portal with the reporting tools. Okay. Sorry about this, the list of questions jumping a bit. The periodic jobs could use as only system users as a subscribers. So technically, you cannot send those reports directly to the vendors. There would be an option of generating those reports and sending them to yourself, and then forwarding them to the vendors. But as subscribers, when it comes to periodic jobs, only system users, so only users that can log into the XTRF home portal, could be used as the recipients. Okay, if you'd have any other questions that would come to your mind, you can always send them to me or to XTRF, and we will. And of course, the specific configuration of reports, please contact us through our help desk or your customer success manager. This is a first time for me, so very, very sorry for keeping you longer than we promised. I hope that I hope in the future I will be able to keep my timeline a bit better. So please excuse me for that. Thank you for your attention, and I hope that we will hear each other with our next webinars. Thank you very much and have a pleasant evening. Bye bye.